before Shane Waldron got to Seattle, York, so a 2013 through 2020, Geno Smith with the Jets, a year with the Giants, a year with the Chargers, and a year in Seattle, where he was an on and off starter, started a lot early in his career, then didn't play much after that. Okay, so that's, how many years is that? Was that 8 seasons?
Sounds like it.
I'm sorry, 7 seasons.
7
seasons. 29 touchdowns in 7 seasons, right? 2013 through 2020.
Right.
29 touchdown passes in 7 seasons. In the 3 years he's been in Seattle with Waldron, he wasn't a full-time starter until last year. He's done most of this work in these last 2 seasons. 55 touchdowns. 55 touchdowns in 3 years compared to 29 in the previous 7. So they tapped into something.
Yeah.
Now, it also, that something could be Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf. Pretty good. I mean, there's not a quarterback in the league that wouldn't like that wide receiver duo, right? I mean, it's pretty good. That's obviously got something to do with it. I understand, but he did bring the best out of Geno. What does this mean for the Bears? I don't know that they went out and found this guy because player X is going to be our quarterback. I think they wanted to find the best guy that had some experience that's from that Shanny McVay tree, and that's what they struck here with Shane Waldron.
I feel like they believe they've got the best of the bunch.
Right.
That's what they believe. This guy likes to throw the ball more than he likes to run the ball. On a team that's been pretty much 50-50, if not run the ball more than they pass the ball. Now, that doesn't mean the Bears didn't drop back and those turned into runs by Justin Fields. But if you look in the offense there, Geno Smith has run the ball, I believe, 30-plus times in each of the last 2 years. So they still have a little bit of a running quarterback in that situation also.
Yeah.
But they like to pass the ball.
They were at 60-40 this year in Seattle.
Yeah. Pass to run.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pass to run.
And the Bears are closer to 50-50.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you think you're going to get off the bus running like the way, Coach Ditka and the NFL and the Chicago Bear fans like to do it, this guy likes to throw the ball a little bit more. This guy likes to go to the air. Just so you know that. So it's not a surprise. Maybe depending upon who the quarterback is and what the talent is, he'll have to adjust his philosophies with the Chicago Bears and with his personnel. And any good offensive coordinator would understand what his personnel are and would adjust his theories to his personnel.
This was Brock Heward last week during his conversation with Waddle and Silva. He knows that situation pretty closely, obviously, out in Seattle. This is Heward talking to the guys about pairing Shane Waldron potentially with Justin Fields.
That I have a hard time saying yes to, just from the 2-3 years we had in Seattle. They just couldn't run the ball.
Right.
And I don't think that was a Geno Smith issue or a horrible offensive line. It's just, I think he comes a little bit, which is surprising because the tree that he comes from should be a run play action team. Mm-hmm. And the head coach that he was playing for, basically, who never called anybody out, basically with us, near the end, is like, we're just not doing it. And I'm like, well, why aren't you doing it? Call the freaking run plays. Like, run the ball. Your rushes per attempt are pretty good. Your overall net yards are one of the worst in the league, or bottom 5 in the league. So I would like to say, because of the background and the tree that he comes from, that would be central. But I don't think it'd be anything like the dude that used to be with the Buffalo Bills and Jim Harbaugh in there and built a Bowley in San Francisco. And if that guy is available, to me, that would make a ton of sense.
It is ironic, like I told you last hour, the tree he comes from, the tree from which he comes, that he is that heavy on that split, that pass to run. Because, again, McVay and Shanny, these guys want to run. LaFleur, they want to run the ball. They use it to set up a lot of other things in their offense. They don't line up in I formation and just 2 yards in a cloud of dust.
They use it to find the void between the backers and the safety.
Yes.
So if you notice, usually the backers' first steps are forward, and the safety's first steps are backwards. Same thing with your corners. Usually they're going backwards. So if you can extend the period of time the backers are coming forward, give more time for the disparity, then put the linebackers in a position where they're turning and running. They can't see the ball. They don't know where it's at. That creates a positive atmosphere for great passing game.
This is why Yurko could be a coach in any era, because I think you nailed that. Like, that's the principal philosophy.
Right.
Again, this isn't...
That's where those deep ends come to play, where Purdy and Garoppolo used to be able to exploit the middle.
Yes. This isn't like I formation, heavy personnel every time. We're like, again, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. We're not talking about that type of running the football. That's not what those guys do,
No.
but they run the ball a lot. Boy, by the way, speaking of like those, how about the first half of Buffalo? How many heavy personnel packages they found themselves in? And it was working for a little while.
Yeah.
Like, I'll give it to him. I thought Joe Brady called a really good game yesterday for the Bills for some of the issues they've had with that offense and that play calling throughout the year. They fixed some things late, obviously. They hit the 6-game winning streak. Came to an end yesterday, but all right, 312-332-ESPN. Ring us up. Chase is on the south side. What's up, Chase?
Hey, what's up, fellas? How you guys doing?
Good, man. How are you?
You guys know Poles and Eberflus' agent is they all have the same agent, right?
They
Which
do.
is Trace Armstrong, right?
Yeah, they do.
So did you know that? So you know this new offensive coordinator they hired is also represented by Trace Armstrong too.
Is he? I did not know that, but
Yeah, and I wonder, do you guys think that there's a possibility that there's a connection there?
sure.
That-
Yeah.
that- And I'm just saying, the reason why I'm saying this is because, I mean, is it a possibility like where you're allowing the agent to allow? Because think about it, when Poles and Eberflus was hired, at the beginning, we all knew there was some connection between Trace Armstrong,
Mm-hmm.
and so there were some speculations about that. Now you flip it over to this offensive coordinator, the same thing, and it's almost like, you look at the offensive coordinator. I mean, the agent is initiating these hires. I don't know. It just seems a little weird about that. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? And I hang up the
All right, thanks, Chase. I don't. Is it that unique of a situation where the agents kind of with their? What am I to make of it? That Trace Armstrong is the puppet
Waldron's
master?
agent?
Yeah, like
Well, I mean, obviously that'd be that's a little bit of an alert.
could that be what's
Well,
happening? Like
I
they're
don't know.
making the
I don't
decision
know.
based on Trace Armstrong?
I don't know if it is or if it isn't. I would just say, okay, there's an area. You Poles, Eberflus, Waldron. Yeah. Well, something to take a look at.
They definitely wanted someone off of this tree. Now, how they ended up with him, I mean, hell, for years we talked about Trace Armstrong running the organization. I mean, is he? I don't
Before
know.
they hired Kevin Warren,
Yes.
with the noise out there, a little bit of pollution, noise pollution, I call it,
Yeah.
was that Trace Armstrong might be a guy that comes in and is the team president.
He's a former Bear.
Yep.
He's a very successful agent now, like knows the business.
He's a barrister, I believe, too.
Yes, he is. He's
If I'm
a
not
lawyer,
mistaken, yes.
Got a law degree. So, like, it would make sense. And is that what's happening? Like, quietly, he's
Well, as long as you
he's
got the-
Tony Soprano to Junior.
you
Like,
got the
he's the
ear-
one running North Jersey.
If you got the ear of the head coach and the general manager,
Interesting.
you say, hey, here's a handful of guys I've got. I'm trying to find a way to fit them in someplace. Give them an interview, see if they impress you, they don't impress you. At the end of the day, all the agent can do is get them in the room. The individual's got to win over everybody.
I would think. I'd
Yeah.
hope that's how they're doing it. Ben is in Dayton. He does not like the Waldron hire. Go ahead, Ben.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Man, I want to like this hire because I was, so excited to see Luke Exie go. When you look at the offensive production that Seattle had last year, it's disappointing to see this is one of the few teams that isn't a complete dumpster fire that was worse than Chicago. And when you dissect their offense, we've got a quarterback who, is questionable at best throwing the ball downfield. Seattle had the lowest success rate of throwing screens this season. On 13%, the next closest, 26%.
Which data set did that represent? What kind of pass plays did you say, Ben?
Screen passes.
On screen passes. Okay.
So the lowest percent of screen rates, and then the lowest percent screen success rates. And you look at the top statistical category of success in the NFL. Top 4 teams: Ravens, Lions, Chiefs, 49ers. They're finding ways to get their guys involved, get the quarterbacks in a rhythm, and Justin Fields with his inconsistency that we've seen, it's worrisome.
Hey, it's Yurko. Thanks for watching us on YouTube. And don't forget to download the ESPN Chicago 1000 app. You get all your live videos and podcasts. You can find us there. We love ya.
And maybe it's not Fields, though. That's why, Ben, I like how you brought some good stats to the table. All right, so screens were an issue. We got to maybe delve into why. I'll tell you this, full data set, 2023 regular season, offensive statistics. Shane Waldron's offense in Seattle finished 10th in EPA per play and 10th in success rate. 10th in both. Obviously better than where the Bears finished. The Bears were 21st in EPA per play, and they were, I'll give you their success rate real quick. Hold on, Eric. I just have to, they were 19th in success rate. So there's that to look at. And we can even get deeper, as I'm sure we will.
Deeper
into,
dive, yes.
into some of these things. Success
like
rate's a
that.
good metric. Again, that's 40% of yards on first, 60% of yards on second, 100% of the yards on third. Pretty good metric of how successful individual players and teams are offensively. So that's the new OC. At least it's going to be soon if it's not official yet. Bears working towards finalizing a deal with Shane Waldron.